Hello, everybody. This is 4451, ORG 4451, the course of organization. And we start recording the session. This is week 6. And please, students, turn your camera on because your attendance is related to your contribution to the session. And with it off camera, you don't have any contribution to the discussions and other parts of the on live class. Thank you. Here is, yes. Dejan and Erica, please turn your video on and we will start just now chapter 12. It's about contemporary views of leadership. Hi, Erica. Hi, Dejan. Welcome. Perfect. Good students, on-time students. Also, Dejan is our newest student. After sometimes I can see him, but Erica is always before me attend the class. Perfect, Erica. Perfect. Okay, contemporary views of leadership in organization. Please say me about the definition of leadership. I know it has some ordinary and popular definition. There are some popular definition from leadership about leadership, but as a leadership in a society, as a leadership in organization, you as the students of organization, business, sales, IT sometimes, how do you think about the meaning of leadership in organizations? Are the leaderships the same managers? Are the leaders are the same managers or no? What's the meaning of leadership in an organization? Dejan, Erica, and also our master, Maris. Yeah, Dejan, you want to say something?
I don't know how to leadership. I say you gotta. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it right now. Leadership is just a big role, in my opinion.
Dejan, try to explain something is one of the deepest and greatest way to organize the mind. If you can explain something to a 12 years old child, you have understand that matter perfectly. So no worry about the explanation. Everything comes to mind, say it, practice, practice, practice. After 1 year, you see, yeah, your verbal skills has become very good. And as a leader, as a manager, as a businessman, as a father, as a boyfriend, as a social human being, all of us need to have some good verbal communicative skills, not only verbal. It is verbal in the direction of communication. So no worrying about your words. Say anything come to your mind about leadership, concept of leadership. Stay cool and talk to me.
Being a leader is taking a. I say leadership is a big step because of when you mess up, is you gotta take responsibility on because you're the leader. So kind of like being like a captain of the basketball team. So like they follow what you do. So if you do wrong, it's gonna be a domino effect.
So I'm hearing from your words about the responsibility and about the followers. These are the concepts you are talking about in leadership. And
Yeah.
what about you? Erica, what about you? How do you think? What is leadership?
A leader?
Yeah, leader or leader is something different. Leadership is a function, leader is a person. So we know that one of the functions one man or one woman can have is a leader. For example, he is titled as the moral leader of the nation. Moral leader of the nation. Do you know what is which person has been titled as moral leader of our nation?
Like who's the leader of our nation? Like the
Yeah,
president?
it is the greatest adjective for his name. He, not she. His name is in the 1963. He had a very, very famous, very famous historical point, historical lecture, 1963, before he was assassinated by some people. He was the new leader of Black people. Who was that?
Was that Robert Kennedy?
No, he was
Oh,
Black.
Martin Luther King. Sorry, Martin Luther King.
In 1963, he had a great lecture by the title of I Have a Dream. I Have a Dream. Martin Luther King Jr., Jr. And in that lecture, someone who was announced him said he is the moral leader of our nation. Okay? For example, look at Martin Luther King Jr. as a great sample, as a great pattern, as a great point to define the leadership, charismatic leadership. We will talk about the charismatic leadership, personality based, not situation based. For example, if you go to an organization and they said you, hi Erica, welcome to our organization. You are our organizational leader. It is called situational leadership. You are leader because of your specific situation in your society, in your organization, in your family. Well, sometimes Erica went everywhere. Everybody has said, wow, such a leader woman, such a leader girl we have between us. It is not about the situation of Erica. It is about the personality of Erica. Everyone playing game to the restaurant, between the friends, between the family members, also in organization, in academy, everywhere. They said, perfect girl, perfect woman. Wow. She has a charismatic personality. We will talk about. Objective in this chapter is identify and describe contemporary situational theories of leadership. Discuss leadership through the eyes of followers. The concept of leadership is related to the concept of followers. Identify and describe alternatives to leadership. Describe the changing nature of leadership and emerging leadership issues. Contemporary situational theories. We talked about the personality theories, charismatic theories, and situational theories. New situational theories have evolved from LPC theory, path goal theory, and the decision tree model. The leader-member exchange model, the Hersey and Blanchard model. Kenneth Blanchard or Kenneth Blanchard has a very simple, very simple, but very effective book by the title of 1 Minute Manager. 1 Minute Manager. It is very simple, but very effective. 1 Minute Manager. He has written this book with co-author is Spencer Johnson. Spencer Johnson passed away, I think, 2 years ago. But Kenneth Blanchard is still alive. Highly recommended to this simple book with the title of 1 Minute Manager. Attributions of leadership, again, other parts, updated versions of the original models, and the leader-member exchange model by Grant and Dancero. What is this model? Leader-member exchange model. It is about the situational models of leadership. It suggests that leaders from unique independent relationships with each of their subordinates. Leaders form unique independent relationship with each of their subordinates. Why? Because it is about the exchanging, giving and taking the data, giving and taking the relationship, not personal and private relationship, organizational and cooperational leadership, the inter relationship with their followers at first. The second assumption is superior subordinate care is termed a vertical diet. It is not horizontal, it is vertical. We have some vertical distance between the leader and follower, but each unit of superior subordinate care is termed as vertical diet. Supervisors establish a close working relationship with a small number of trusted subordinates, referred to as the in-group. So, the first unit in this model, leader-member exchange model, is vertical diet. The second unit, the second component, is in-group and out-group. Which of the members organize and shape the in-group? Those close working relationship with a small number of trusted subordinates. So we have categorized, we have divided the subordinates in two parts: trusted, semi-trusted, untrusted. Full trusted subordinates will be in our in-group. And subordinates who are not a part of the in-group are called the out-group, and they receive less of supervisor time and attention. So we have vertical diet, close relationship, working relationship between the supervisors and subordinates. Each unit of this relationship is called vertical diet. After that, the members of an organization are divided to two parts: in-group and out-group. In-groups are the people who are very trusted by the supervisors. Everyone, anybody who is not in the in-group section, they are in out-group section. It does not mean that they are out of the organization or they don't have any relationship, working relationship with supervisor. No, it means that they are receiving and they receive less attention, less relationship, less cooperation with the supervisor. Also, it's a model, and sometimes we think that it is not a good model, it is not a fair model, but you can find this model in many companies about the in-group, out-group, and sometimes also it is not legal, it is illegal, but you can find pressure group, for example, the close working relationship with the supervisors and the other members of an organization. So, what did you know now about this model, leader-member exchange model, LMX model? Do you think it is good or not? Can you see in the graph, leader has two parts: in-group people, out-group people. What was the major element to choose the in-group and out-group? What was the major element? Erica, the agent, how do you think? Do you remember what was the major element, major criteria for choosing that, yes, this subordinate should be in-group, that subordinate should be out-group? What was the major element? Mindfulness, being here and now, is the only tool you should have for happiness, progress, and success. If you are not at here and now, you are wasting your time and your place. You are wasting your life. Now you are here. because of your goals, because of your knowledge, because of your academic degree, because of every reason that you are here. Be here and now. It's the real life. The essence of life is here and now. So concentrate on the session that you are taking with me. It's good for you, also for me. The major element to choose people for in-group and out-group was trust. Here you can see, it says trusted subordinate and other people are out of the trusted subordinate. LMX, and also you can see instead of M, you can say A, it is LX. Because of LX, you can remember LMX. LMX is leader for L, member for M, and X for exchange. LMX model suggests that leader from unique independent, it is important because the subordinates contains a lot of trusting with the supervisors. It is a unique, independent working relationship with each of their subordinates. As illustrated here, the key factor in nature and distribution where the individual subordinate leaders outgroup or in. Okay. Other model, the Hersey and Blanchard or Blanchard model. Hersey, I remember every time I see the word the Hersey, I remember the Hershey. Hershey as a chocolate. And after that, Blanchard is my favorite person when I was about 22. Now I am near 50. It is about 28 years ago that I read the book 1 Minute Manager. I have never been a manager, a formal manager, but as a nurse, as a psychologist, as a positive psychology, every time I have read this book, I enjoy and I learn new things. And I also, this has a second book in this area. It is called 1 Minute Manager and the Mind Keys, I think. Yeah, Mind Keys about 1 minute, something like it. It is 2 parts, 1 Minute Manager and 1 Minute Manager and Mind Keys. The first volume, the first book is, it has co-author by Spencer Johnson that I love. Always, all his books, I love them. It is Who Moved My Cheese, one of the greatest books by Spencer Johnson. 1 Minute Salesman, it is very good book. Who Moved My Cheese, and other book is The Gift of Present. The Gift of Present. You know, it is present and present. Present is mean here, now, and present is mean gift. Say we say present, you should know the present is your gift of life. So be here. If you think that you have come to a party, life is a party, we have come here and we have a lot of gift here. Why? Because we have present moment. So Hershey or Hersey and Blanchard or Blanchard model. This model suggests that appropriate leader behavior depends on the readiness of followers. I have tried it in Instagram. About 6 months or 7 months ago, 10 months ago, I had only about 1,000 followers in my Instagram page. After entering COVID, I had a little more time. Every day, 7 weeks, 7 days a week, I have a live, Insta live by my language, native language in Farsi, every day. Just today, before class, I had 1 hour Insta live. With other people, sometimes it is mono Insta live. I only talk about 1 hour every day. I had reached, for example, today, while followers were about 8,000, from 1,000 to 8,000. Why? Because of these repeatable Insta lives, I have created people in my native language, sometimes of readiness for accepting mine as a lecturer. Because of that, it is very important as a father, as a mother, as a teacher, as a leader, as a coach, as a mentor. creating and preparing people, creating readiness and creating preparation for change. It is very important. In change management, the first step is to create readiness to change. Why should we change? It is the first question. Everybody asks himself or herself, why should I change? Why I have to change? Why? It is readiness of followers or readiness of change. We are talking about leadership, so we are talking about the relationship between the leaders and followers. Second one. So the first element is readiness. As followers' readiness, subordinates degree of motivation, competence, experience, and interest. Four elements. Readiness contains four elements, includes four elements: motivation, competence, experience, and interest in accepting responsibility. When you are ready, at the time that you can accept the responsibility, at that time you are ready to change. How can I find that you are ready or not? It is related to finding motivation, competence, experience, and interest in you or in yourself, even you are self-leading. It's very important. Every type of leadership is self-leadership. Every type of management is self-management. I am hypnotherapist. Every type of hypnosis basically is self-hypnosis. All the masters of hypnosis say you that yes, we are only guiding your self-hypnosis. I cannot do anything in your hypnotherapy. I am guiding your power of self-hypnosis. So if you want to create change in other people, honestly, you are directing their sense of change in their own self. Only you are the leader, you are the guide, you are the guideline. At the best scenario, you are the guideline. But the change starts from me. The change starts from you. The change starts from the changer, from the subordinate, not because of, not from leader. Leader can lead their own inner change, their own self-leading. Because of that, you can find the elements which are very important to create readiness are motivation, our competence, our experience, our interest. After these, you have these four elements. You can say, yes, I am ready to accept the responsibility of the change and leadership that the leader wants to create in me or in organization. We are talking about people, individuals, and we are talking about groups. We are talking about social movements. If you see something, some social movement excludes, like for example, Black Lives Matter, you see, is there any readiness? Yes. All they are motivated, all they are competent about the human rights, social rights, and equal social rights. All they have some experience of bad experience, of good experience, of power experience, of weaknesses experience. As Black people, they are ready to accept the responsibility of their movement. And you know that in 2021, one of the greatest peace prizes all around the world, which is called Nobel Peace Prize, the major candidate now 2021, the major candidate for this award, for this prize is BLM, Black Lives Matter movement. So you can find the readiness to change in all aspects if you consider these four elements. Motivation is alone, merely motivation is not enough. Merely competent, we have a lot of, many people, lazy competent. They are competent, but they are not motivated. They are lazy. And you say, what the education they have earned? What is the function of education? For example, he or she has a PhD of business, but I, as a simple worker, have good, better knowledge and better experience in the real world of experience, the real world of business. Why? Because she or he is not motivated. She or he is lazy. After that, you see a lot of people have a good motivation and a good competence, but they don't have a good area of experiences. You say, yes, very good, but you are apprentice. You are new entering to this business. And finally, interest. So in your family members, in your friends, in your organization, just now in your job, start looking for what these four separate elements: motivation, other people, and yourself; competence in other sources and yourself; interest in other people and yourself; and also experience in other people and yourself. As a manager, as a psychologist, as a father, as a mother, as a leader, the first things you should learn is direct and correct observation. Everything begins with observation. Everything. In the real world of human society, everything begins with observation, correct and direct observation, clear observation. And correct is mean right observation, correct observation is mean you know that what you should look for, what you should look for. Sorry, I am at the class. Can I call you back after ending the class?
Sure.
Thank you, bye. So the leader's relationship style should change from telling to selling. Please read a very simple book by the title of 1 Minute Salesman or 1 Minute Salesforce, something like it, by Spencer Johnson. It has 2 chapters, 2 parts. Part 1 is selling to other people. What are the psychology of selling to other people? The second part is selling to myself. Why I cannot follow my ideas, why I cannot follow my ideas, my goals, why I am always frustrated, lack of energy, why I cannot sell my ideas to myself. It is something like selling your tools, selling your productions to other people's. From telling to selling, from participating to dedicating. You are getting smarter and smarter and smarter with looking and learning deeply these words. Thinking about the words change the mind during the time. And after some years, other people and you see that I'm different from the person, for example, 4 years ago I was. Why? Because I am working with the words and coming the concept of words to the real words. From telling to selling is mean that not you. It doesn't mean that it is not important to talk to other people. No, it is not important to only talk to people. Selling is the symbol of acting in the real world. Participating to delegating. Okay, it's your responsibility. Such a bad manager you are that if you should do everything in your organization, you are not a good manager, you are a good simple worker. What is the meaning of management? What is the definition of management? The management is the art of administration, the jobs by other people, not by yourself. The art of administration of the jobs by other people, not by yourself. Such a management you are that you do everything in your company, in your organization. You are a very, very multifunctional simple worker. If it is important that you do everything in your organization, you are not a manager. Management is the art of administration of the jobs by other people. At first, it is job matching problems. Who is appropriate for this or that job? Who is not appropriate? It is job matching, for example, interview by HR, something doing sometimes doing by HR. Job matching interviews that we are working a very good project in CalMU about the job matching tools, about the tests, about the body language and other parts. We are working at the Transformation Center of Excellence. One part of transformation, also I know it is not new, but we are doing our share of the market, of share of proportion of creating the new knowledge about the job matching tools. Any question? Okay. And you see also here, okay, Maris, you are muted.
I have a question, Professor. Isn't the function of a manager to help motivate leaders within that construct? Is it simply just to take the role of guiding others, or is it to help others to become functional participants within that group?
So it is very important to know the technical, the professional differences between these words: manager, leader, coach. We have three words, three different words. Conceptually, these are different, and professionally and technically, these are different. Management is about the maintenance, the present situation at the best level of functioning. Sometimes these maintenance needs some types of motivation, yes. But management, technically, professionally, we are describing and we are defining the management. Management is not about the future. Management is about the present situation. Leaders are talking about the perspective. Leaders are future oriented. Leaders are talking and thinking and moving based on the strategy. Strategy is always future oriented. We don't have any strategy about present time. The present time is our schedule. The present time is a methodology. But these two parts, one for maintaining, one for progressing to the future, they can be, yes, they can be a role, they can have a good role in motivating and inspiration, creating inspiration in other people. But someone who come to organization, out of the organization, usually out of the organization, usually out of the family, usually out of the society even sometimes, and searching, he or she knows the tools for finding the source of motivation, inner motivation in yourself or in your organization. He or she is not called manager, he or she is not called leader, he or she is called coach. The responsibility of creating motivation, of maintaining you or your organization at the correct way to the future with the maximizing your potential, finding your potential. Please go to the Gallup, site of Gallup, see the courses about the strength finding. Strength finding is about organization. More of them is about organization. Or you go to the site of VIA, via values in action, about the 24 strength, character strength, about the person, not about the organization. So honestly, there's someone who can come to the organization and try to look for the strengths, try to look for the potential in individuals, in the group dynamics in the organization, professionally, and basically it is not related to the managers nor leaders. It is related to the executive coaches. Executive coaches come to your organization, outside the organization. For example, in our university, we have one of the most famous executive organization in California, Dr. Zayer. Dr. Zayer is one of the greatest and most famous executive coaches in California. He worked with Boeing. He has worked with, I think he has worked with IBM, and also now with a lot of major great companies. Then I can have, it's a good idea to have a session about executive coaching, differences between leadership, executive coaching, and management as a good free session in Transformation Center of Excellence. Have you received your answer, Maris?
Yes, yes, I have. Thank you.
You're welcome. So you see here a good graph. much, little, high. Moderate in followers' readiness and amount of behavior of leader. In task behavior, you see that just downing, downing, down. But we have 4 areas of followers readiness, from low to moderate to high readiness. M1, M2, M3, M4. It is about motivation. Okay, and you see the brief graph-based concept of Hersey and block contours of leadership in this graph. Leadership through the eyes of followers. I love this concept because if you consider a family as an organization, and an institution, not organization, the most basic and principal institution of the society is family. And you can see the parenting through the eyes of children. There's something different through the eyes of the parents, through the eyes of the children. In psychology, we say our children are always our babies. It's come, for example, sometimes our children are 40 years, 40 years, 3 years. My mom said just now, I have a PhD of psychology. I have a lot of followers, a lot of students, a lot of friends. My mom don't say my child, say my baby. So honestly, our children are always our babies. Parenting through the eyes of children. Approaches, but now we are leadership through the eyes of followers. Through the eyes of followers, we have 3 approaches to leadership. Transformational leadership. I love my saint, my, I don't want to say my divine word of life is transformation. By my essence of my life is about transformation. Transformation leadership, charismatic leadership, attributions of leadership. At first, before entering the transformational leadership, say me something about the concept of transformation. What is transformation? What does it mean? What is the difference between these 4 words? Change, modification, transcendence, and transformation. Also, they are at the same line. At first, it is change, modification, sorry. After modification, you have change. After change, sometimes you have transcendence. And after transcendence, sometimes you have transformation. The lowest element is modifying, and the highest element is about transformation. What does it mean, transformation? What are the differences between transformation and some other words like change, modification, and transcendence? Erica Dajan, a smart young brain, please help me.
So what is transformation? Like the difference between it?
Yeah. What are the major components of transformation that distinguish this word from other words, other near words in meaning, like changing, modifying, or transcendence? What are the major cutting elements, cutting phenomenon of the transformation?
I think to transform, it's more of like it's not just changing, because like you could change like just one thing, but I think if you were to like transform, you kind of like your whole, like your person, I guess, who you are is like change, not just like one singular thing, like you're just like a different person kind of.
Yeah. For example, after 4 years, I see you and I say, Rika, what little transformation I can see in your behavior. As an external observer, how do you think about this sentence? That I can see a lot of behavioral transformation in you. What do you get that I am looking, I am watching, I am observing in you as a transformational behaviors, not modified behaviors, not change behaviors, not transcendent behavior, as transformative behaviors or transformational behaviors. There is a major word here, quality. Transformation is about changing the quality, not the quantity. Transformation is about changing the essence. Transformation is talking about some view attitudes, some new perspective about your life. Transformation is the deepest changing in your life. The first level of changing is called modifying, or something like adaptation. New circumstances, new behaviors, new actions, and new other things. The second part is about changing. Changing, we have new circumstances and new skills. Transcendence is 1 or 2 times per life. Just grasping some new experiences. Sometimes it is called about transpersonal. For example, in meditation, even in such pathologic experience like LSD trip, sometimes it is pathological, it is not normal. But sometimes people say, for example, in a pathological and not legal experience, like, for example, drug abuse or LSD trip, they report sometimes of transcendence, looking at the world from a totally different aspect. Totally different. Sometimes it is real. Many times these are not real. These are only about the imagination. But transformation is very real. Changing the basis of your mind, moral principles, reality testing. Your mindset, more than everything in transformation in a human being, is changing mindset. Your conceptual framework. How do you conceptualize the external experience of your life? These are the major concepts of transformation. Now in leadership, the set of abilities that allows the leader to recognize the need for change, to create a vision to guide that change, and to execute the change effectively. So we have 3 parts: need to change, vision to change or guide the change, and execution, doing, acting, performing based on the change. It is transformational change, transformational leadership. The set of abilities, we are talking about the skills, not only skills, about abilities, about the some parts of a skill, some parts of mindset, some parts are about talking. The set of abilities that allows the leader to recognize the need for change. At first, it is very important. Recognizing the need for change is the basic step of creating any type of change that you want to have in your life. Because naturally we are change resistant. Naturally, we don't have to change. We don't want to have to change. Why? Because it is hard. Change is when going out of your comfort zone. In your comfort zone, you feel safe. Going out from your comfort zone, the first emotion that you experience when you are going out from your comfort zone is fear. Because of that, the next step of comfort zone is called fear zone. And after that, it is learning zone, and final zone is growth zone. Because in comfort zone, you feel safe and you feel everything is in control. Why not? It's good. So in comfort zone, the major problem is you cannot find any need to change. Why to change? Why? It's safe. It's in control. So one of the first steps to creating any type of change by anybody is to recognizing, to finding and recognizing the need to change. Okay, I have recognized my need to change, but I don't have any vision. It's a very, very important word, vocabulary, terminology in business and all honestly in all aspects of life. I have worked sometimes in about happiness studies. It's a science. Happiness have four elements, four fundamentals. One of the greatest fundamentals of happiness is vision. Also in business in vision. Everything that starts with a vision, continue with the strategy and ending with the mission. The strategy is the distance between the missions and visions are filled, these distances are filled with the strategy. The strategy connect missions to visions. But at first you should have a vision for your business, for your life, for your parenting, for your marriage, for everything you want life to go. At first you should know where do you want to go. That is called vision. For need, we should have vision. So at first need to change. 2, vision of change. 3, methodology. What should we do? Execute the change effectively. Not only doing working and working and working. It's an old false belief about the working, that work hard and work hard and work hard. I am not a horse to work hard. I'm a human being. Because of that, yes, I want to work hard. But the first priority for working with me is not hard working, it is a smart working. I am not a horse. If I am a horse, yes, I work hard, even work hard, only work hard. But I'm a human being with a near 1 kilogram and 400 grams of brain, the most complicated living being on the earth, the most complicated. Science has shown. Go to internet and see some movies about the MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. It is a very famous medical imaging system, very famous and very ordinary. See the images of the brain, fMRI, functional MRI. They show you, yes, when you are doing some mathematical calculation, what part of your brain has receiving more blood. When you are laughing, when you are making love, when you are sad, when you are angry, when you are satisfied, when you are relaxed, and other parts, and other functions. I am a human being with the most complicated, systematic being, living being in the world. So my first priority is not first priority. Yes, I should work hard, I know. But the first priority is smart working, not hard working. Because of that, you should have some executive plans for effective working, not only for working. The second part is charismatic leadership. Charisma is a personal characteristic of the leader which inspires support and acceptance. Leadership is based on leaders' personal charisma. It's very fantastic, very interesting component of charismatic leaders. Sometimes they don't do anything right, but many people accept it. They know that this is not wrong, this is not right, it is wrong, but they accept. Charismatic people, charismatic leaders, lead not the brain and the mind of people, lead the heart of people. For example, Donald Trump. Some of his actions is out of the ordinary prestige of the United States president, any president has been like him. Okay. And everybody knows in America, all around the world. And many times he had talked about something that it was for the tribes, for example, freedom of speech. It's America, the symbol of speech freedom. And in a conference, you said to journalists, go out. It is not president, it is dictatorship. But many people accepted him. Think about the feeling people can create in other people, not about the thinking. I'm so sorry to talk about it, but we are not as intellectual that we think. We are emotional. Yes, we have intellect, we have brain, we are thinkers. Yes, I know. But in competition between emotion and thinking, the winner is emotion. In competition between imagination and thinking, imagination is winner. Look at your personal life. I have worked with the matter of porn addiction. The porn addiction is the winning of imagination on thinking. I work scientifically by researching my company about this matter, about porn addiction. Why some people, why many people are porn addicted? They know that it is movie. They are not real people. They are stars. They are not your husband. They are not wife. And after that, going to bedroom and say to your partner that I want you to be like that, for example, porn star. Why? And it is the origin of divorce, the origin of personal conflict, sexual impotency. You work about it. That we have an element so-called sexual fantasy. In competition between sexual fantasy created by porn and the intellectual man or woman that knows his or her partner and love him or love her, in competition with this fantasy and this good reality-based thinking, sorry, the winner is imagination. After that, people say, such a bad things I have done with my partner. Yes, after that. It is about blaming. It is not about the real. Blaming is for after doing something wrong, not before doing. Before doing, you are thinking. You have a lot of doubts and a lot of wrong or right thinking. After that, you have guilt feeling, you have frustration. Sometimes you are so happy that, well, that's good. Because of that, charismatic leadership at the side of influencing others is very good because our leader is charismatic. Everything he or she said, many people say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Why you are saying yes? Because we accept him or her, not about the intellectual ability, not, it's about the personality. And also emotional. And sometimes it is not about the showing, it is a showing off. It is about the exaggeration, it is about the acting. See, Ronald Reagan was actor, and we have another president in America that came from the area of movie and cinema. And also Donald Trump was not an actor, but was a very famous public figure in TV. Good actions. It is not good or bad. It is not about the judgment. It is about analyzing, non-judgmental analyzing. When you are charismatic, your work with other people is very effective. But it has some problems. When you are not at your organization will be out, canceled. Why? Because you are not there. It is not about the systems. It is about the tribes. It is about the family. It is not about an organization. In an organization, charismatic leadership create very deep changes. I know. But the major problem is that all changes are related to the leader, not about the fundamental changes in organization, because people's and followers' mindset haven't changed. These are the same. You are our trustable leader. We love you, we regard you, and respect you. We accept everything you say to us. Okay, the last part is attribution perspective of leader. Holds that when behavior are observed in a context associated with the leadership, others may attribute varying levels of leadership ability or power to the person displaying those behaviors. Is it good or bad? When you are concentrating on one person abilities, on one person personality, on one person power in an organization, for a short time, it is very good. That power changes everything and recreate in a new manner, in a new procedure, in a new aspect. It's good for short. But for a long time, it is not organization. Organization is a systematic interrelationship, interconnection between different elements for gaining a shared goal. It is organization. So attribution perspective of leadership is good for short time, for a minimum time of effectiveness of leadership. But for long term, everything is related to transformational approach. Okay, have a break for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes. And after that, 11:25, I'm again here to continue the session. Okay, welcome again to the second part of the session. And in the next 1 hour, we will talk about the other titles of our course. And here, you can see the three parts and three major characteristics of a good charismatic leader, which includes envisioning, energizing, and enabling. It is different from energizing and enabling. Energizing is mean demonstrating personal excitement, expressing personal confidence, seeking, finding, and using success. It is about energizing part, energizing characteristic of a charismatic leader. But in enabling other people, it is expressing personal support, empathize, and expressing confidence in people. And at first, the major part, the major element, major component of any type of leader, the leader should create a vision for the follower. So envisioning is the major component of any type of leadership, especially in the charismatic leadership, that your style of leadership is based on your personal features, your personal traits, your personality traits. So the vision you create for your follower is very important. It is articulating a compelling vision by the words, by the real words, by writing, externalization of your idea in your mind. A good charismatic leader at first should know how to create his or her mind in a style of words, in a style of planning, external planning, and setting high expectations in other people. Such a vision you have, which is not so high, if your vision is at the same level of your present moment, life, present moment situation, it is not a vision. It is only called the next step of your present step. And finally, modeling consistent behaviors. It's a very lovely model about the three components of leadership. Very lovely. If you work with this, only with these three elements in yourself, in other people, very simple, and at the same time, very, very effective. Envisioning yourself and other people, energizing yourself and other people, and enabling yourself and other people. So we have two alternatives to leadership substitutes and leadership neutralizers. You can find many leadership substitute and leadership neutralizers in different institutions, social institutions, from the basic social institutions, so-called family, to the highest social institutions, like, for example, religious institutions like churches, or great companies that can govern the government of a uh, country like America. Because really in a country like America, as a capitalistic economic system, you don't have any government at the basic part. You have only the companies that govern the government. Why? Because the basic system of the economy, for example, in USA, is based not on the money, on the capital. Capital is something different from money. Money is a part of capital, as the same asset is different from capital or money. These are the very near words with the different, very detailed different meaning in professional use. And you are becoming a professional in your field as a student of Bachelor of Science, for example, in business. After ending your courses, after ending your program and giving your Bachelor of Science, you are professional. Because of that, you should know about the different meaning of the very near and very closed words, like, for example, money, asset, wealth, and capital. In individual part, individual professionalism, motivation, experience and training, and indifference to rewards. These are the substitutes and neutralizers for leaders. And group norms and group cohesiveness. You see in a lot of companies, a lot of groups, that group norms will neutralize the leadership effect. And in job structure or automated job, highly controlled job, intricately satisfying job, and embedded feedback in job can be a substitute for leadership. When you have a very highly controlled job, you don't need any leadership. Why? Because the job is predefined by highly controlling systems. For example, in automation of car industry, in the layout of the factory, you don't need any management and leadership in high level. Why? Because it's automated. You need only the engineers for designing and controlling the automated, for example, apparatus you are using, for the automated tools that you are using for making the cars. And in organization, rigid procedures and rules, or explicit goals and objectives, and rigid reward system can neutralize the leadership. Why? Leadership, all aspects of leadership, is a matter of movement forward, is a matter of improvement, is a matter of progression. Every aspect of leadership is a matter of progression, moving forward in your organization, in your life. Every type of leadership. Leadership is future oriented, is about the changing. So we need some flexible, as Nassim Taleb is an, I think, Egyptian author with a lot of books, very conceptual books about leadership. One of them is Anti-Fragile. Anti-Fragile is a book about not flexibility in organization of life. It is getting better and better after the hard situation. It is anti-fragile, not flexibility. Flexibility is going forward and getting back. In Nassim Taleb theory, you see that rigid procedures and rules and rigid reward system neutralize the effect of a leadership in a company, in an organization, also in society. What does it mean, the changing nature of leadership? If is it nature, why it is called changing? It can be changed, why do you call this nature? Because nature is meant the relatively stable procedure, the relatively stable laws of doing or having or getting something. This is nature. I don't know you know him or not, but a very famous, very, very famous monk, Indian monk, that he has died also about 3 years or 5 years ago. 5 years ago, he has died by 5 years ago, he has died, and he is called Maharishna Mahesh Yogi. One of the followers of Maharishna Mahesh Yogi was the Beatles. The Beatles group, the music group Beatles, was our greatest greatest followers of Maharishna Mahesh Yogi. His word, his phrase is total natural law. He said, we can use the laws for example, moving around the sun by the planets. We can use the same laws in our individual world. Why? Because we have some total natural law. It's total for everything, for every being in the universe we can use. So when you use the word nature or natural, you are talking about the different aspects of sustainable and stable parts. But in leadership, we say changing nature of leadership. At first, it means that we can confront with the different roles of leaders that basically they are not called leader. For example, now you see some of leaders are called now coaches, but basically they are leaders. And sometimes they are called leaders, but basically they are coaches. We want to know the uh, different multiple differences between these words. At first, leaders as coaches. New role, leaders as mentor. Help select team members and other new employee. 2, provide general direction. The major difference between a coach and a mentor is provides general direction. Helps train develop the team and member skills. Help train team and member skills. He is not trainer. Help and facilitate the training process and helps acquire information or resources. Helps resolve conflict and mediate disputes. It's very important. Every type of mentors or every type of uh, coaching, they are in the direction of mediate disputes. Sorry. Hi, doctor. I am at the class. Can I call you back after the ending class?
Oh, you're in a class?
Yeah. Thank you. The changing nature of leadership, gender and leadership. The stereotyping of a style is no longer valid. Women tend to be more democratic decision makers, men more autocratic. Women tend to be more democratic decision makers, men are more autocratic. Women may have stronger interpersonal skills. We
Professor?
are considering the different. Is there any question, Erica?
Yeah, what does it mean to be autocratic?
Autocratic is mean you are talking and you are doing only on your own views, on your own interpretation, on your own thinking. You don't consider other people. Look at it with this example. Crazy is mean dominancy. The suffix of crazy is mean dominancy. For example, you say democracy. Democracy is dominance of demo. What is the meaning of demo? Demo is Latin word is mean people. So when you say democracy, democracy is mean the dominancy of people. Yeah, or you say theocracy. Theocracy, theo is the Latin word of Zeus. Zeus is means God. Theocracy is mean the dominance of God. When you say autocracy, auto is mean self. Very egocentric, very selfish. It is autocratic. And also authority, after autocratic, it is authority. So autocratic is means men are more autocratic in leadership style. They think, yes, it is me, that I am the only decision maker for the organizations. But women are more democratic. Democratic is mean we consider other people views about the decision making. Women may have a stronger interpersonal skills, interpersonal, not intrapersonal. And finally, women may confront more opposition and therefore involve others in decision making to reduce conflict. It is group decision making. You see that women are more democratic as the other roles in the society. Why 95 in I think it is 1990 that the percent of nurses in America was 98% for women. After 20 years of emphasizing on training men and encouraging men to go to the nursing, especially for the technical parts of nursing, like ICU, like CCU, that we have a lot of, for example, electronic devices to act as a nurse. After 20 years, the percentage became 95%, only changing 3%. Why? Because the nature of nursing, it is not about caring. I have my BA, Bachelor of Science is nursing, and I have worked as a psychiatrist for near 9 years. The nature of nursing, yes, the essence of nursing is about, for example, something like caring. But as a profession, it is not about caring. It is about the knowledge of vulnerability and other parts of people. Because of that, women may confront more opposition and therefore involve others in decision making to reduce conflict. Is there any question, Maris?
Oh, did you see my question? Did you see my question face?
No. Yeah. I saw your question.
Education, the field of education was also in the same category as nursing, where women were considered the dominant role players in education rather than men.
And you see that not decision maker, but decision builders. Some people that build different decisions for other people. They have analytical position in life. For example, as a psychotherapist, as a coach, as a counselor, I am not decision maker for other people. I am decision builder. I offer them different options of decisions, and they should decide that which decision is better or not better for them. Because of that, you see that in decision building, men are more successful. For example, in cooking, cooking is traditionally a women duty, a women art, traditionally. But the major chefs are not women. The major chefs are men. Why? Because when you go to industrial cooking, it is not about the cooking at the size of your home for 4 or 5 people. Yes, at that size, for a small family party, it is good for women. But when you are talking about the restaurants, you are not talking about the cooking. You are talking about the organizing and managing and leading the different aspect of cooking. One of them is, yes, tasting and, for example, cooking. Other parts is not, for example, about the design of the food and the managing other people. And also in medicine, some types of medicine, some fields of medicine are about women. Yeah. But the major physician in those women-based fields are not women, are men. Because of the loading and overloading of the work, it is not related to the essence of the work. And cross-cultural leadership, culture encompasses both international differences and diversity-based differences within one culture. When we say cross-cultural, we are searching for the components, for the elements that we can use for different culture. We can use them for different culture, not only for one culture. For example, we say that we have cultural psychology. Cultural psychology means that part of psychology that concentrated on a specific culture within a country or within an ethnicity or race. For example, what are the cultural beliefs about, for example, marriage in Persian people? What are the cultural beliefs in marriage in Black people, in Black African people, Black American people, in Hispanic people in Spain, in Hispanic people in Mexico, in Hispanic people in California? Even you can find different approaches in details, not total differences, but detailed differences within only one ethnicity. Persian people in Iran, Persian people in America, Persian people, for example, in Australia. All of them Persian? Yes, but different detailed differences. Totally, they are the same. Or about, for example, Black people or white people and other cultures. It is cultural. When we talk about cross-cultural, for example, researching about brain in psychology is cross-cultural. Why? The total shape and total weight and total functions of brain for all human beings, all human healthy beings are the same. Your weight of brain, human weight of brain in Africa, in America, in Iran, in Australia are very near. It is cross-cultural psychology. That aspects of human being that you can share as the same with different cultures. It is not related to your culture. Okay? As the same, we have cross-cultural leadership. Culture encompasses both international differences and diversity-based differences within one culture. You see here, Project Globe, it is charismatic value leadership, participative leadership, autonomous leadership, self-projective leadership, human-oriented leadership, team-oriented leadership, and international leadership behaviors. We have some complicated and new words here. For example, self-protective leadership. What does it mean? How do you think about this phrase? What's the meaning of self-protective leadership? What is the major concept in the phrase of self-protective leadership? Self-protective for the followers, self-protective for the leaders, self-protective for the society, not about the leaders and followers for all. What does it mean? Especially the word self. What is the concentration part? What is the focal point? The point of focus, the point of attention, the point of meaning for self in the phrase of self-protective leadership. How do you think? Nothing?
So I believe I believe that self-protecting is about distinguishing yourself from maybe your followers,
Uh-huh.
and that you are now invested in you
Uh-huh.
rather than the group itself. So you are protecting yourself,
Yeah.
and not necessarily being inclusive of the entire team.
Is it something like dictatorship
Um,
or
I
autocratic?
I don't know that it's it's a dictatorship role, because as dictatorship, I think you are not providing a sense of covering for you,
Mm-hmm.
but you are then just giving orders for others to follow. But I think in self-protective leadership, you are providing a cover for yourself, and not allowing others to come into that space.
Is it autocratic?
I think so. I think it's about self-indulgence or
Do you have any good
preservation.
Do you have any good judgment about the self-protective leadership or not?
I don't think it's necessarily a good base,
Uh-huh.
because then you're not allowing others to be a part of the process.
Uh-huh.
You are kind of moving away and distancing yourself
Uh-huh.
from the whole, as opposed to allowing others to be a part of that process.
Yeah. And what about the value-based leadership? What does it mean, charismatic value-based leadership?
I think for me is finding that thing that allows other people to absorb, allow other people to gain from what you're doing. So you find value in others, something that someone else can bring to that particular process. And then
Mm.
you either train that person or you develop that person
Yeah.
to be a part of that process.
Yeah. You see here different parts of different components of leadership styles. What are the focus of that leadership style? For example, when you say participative leadership, it does not mean that you participate for every action, every decision as a leader. Decision making is not a process. Decisions are process. Decision making is a point. At a single point with a single person. We don't have any type of group decision making, social decision making. No, one person make a decision. Why? Because he or she should be the responsible of that decision. But the process of gathering information, gathering different ideas, yes, in the process of reaching to the point of decision, we can have, for example, we have participative decision-making process. But the point of decision-making is a point, and a point does not include many people, only one person. Something like organizations. We have a board of directors, yes, but we have only one president, only one manager, only one person. Finally, the gathering information and the think tank and the brainstorming and considering different aspects of a job come to one single good or profitable and appropriate decision for that organization. After that, we say to our general manager that, yes, this is the decision of board of directors. And you are the agent. You are the someone who acts based on this decision. After that, the decision is made by that, for example, general manager. It's something about autonomous leadership, self-protective leadership, human-oriented leadership. In human-oriented leadership, the final outcomes, financial, economic, sometimes social outcomes is not so important. The human rights and the humanity and the followers' feelings are more important than, for example, effective or non-effective results of our decision, our leadership process. It is called human-oriented and team-oriented and also autonomous leadership. Leadership issues. We have three major issues in leadership: strategic leadership, ethical leadership, and now we have virtual leadership. Also, virtual leadership is not a phrase from coronavirus period of time, but it is very, very, very serious during and after the coronavirus period. Why? Because everything is good. Now everything is good and effective in virtual space. Until the next 20 years, I think we will not find many hard problems for working with virtual leadership. The study of history says and shows us that history is repeatable again, again, and again. For example, if you look at the fashion history, you see near 20 years, each 20 years, all the dress fashions repeat again. Or if you, for example, look at the attractive women body, for example, in 1916 and 70, some stars like Marilyn Monroe was the type of the, for example, the most attractive women in the society. Now it's Kim Kardashian. 10 years ago was, for example, Angelina Jolie. It is different from type and shape of who is the most attractive woman in society. And repeat again. Why? Because the models, the sizes, the shapes are very limited and the time is unlimited. For at every period of time, we have some repeating models for different things. Also, I think for virtual leadership, after 20 years, we have a respect to the back of this time again. But until that time, we have different good, effective, and new experience with the virtual world. I wish, and if it is not true, we have never gone back to the previous time of coronavirus. Why? Because we are entering a new generation of human being. It is called Homo digitus. Digitus is the new type of human being. Some books called him post-human being. We are entering, if you want to look at this concept, you can go and read the book by the title of Transhumanism. Transhumanism is a very scientific base about the futurology, study of future of human. It is transhumanism. What is the main factor of transformation of human from the human being to the post-human being is digital world, the cyber space. It's very important. It is not about your mobile or cell phone or computer. It is a lifestyle. And I think, I don't know, it is conspiracy theory or not, but I think the cutoff point, the major period to change from a human to post-human is COVID-19. Not about the killing people, about the virus. Yes, medicine is a very good science, and they have found only in 10 months. It is fantastic. We don't have any example before this time. Even in World War II, that many good medications were created in World War II for helping people involving with war. Even in that time, we didn't have any example of creating a vaccine, of making a vaccine only in 10 months. It's fantastic. It's a new generation of medication, new generation of pharmaceutical industry. It's only one example. And we are entering a new age of change. And honestly, it is not change, it's about transformation. Because of that, also, the word transhumanism by Dr. Lee, I think, yes, the editor of the book is Dr. Lee, and Dr. Guiabadi is working with him now to invite him in a very super modern session with our students and with our staffs and with our faculty about the transhumanism. The book is Transhumanism, about the post-human being and transhuman being. And the word is not for this time. It is about, I think, 4 to 5 years ago. But now that predictions about the future, because the science is called, this science is called futurology. Futurology is science of future, or future studying. Sometimes it's called future study. It's an academic field, academic major in between mathematics, industrial engineering, and also some groups like biology, physiology, anthropology, and other parts of human sciences. Together, they have created an academic field with the title of futurology, or science of future, or future studying. So we are entering the transhumanism and transhumanistic period.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Just a very simple question. When scientists come up with words such as post-human, what exactly does that mean? Post-human.
When you want to talk about post-human, at first you should talk about human.
Okay.
It is something like that. You said we have pre-human, human, and post-human. For example, we say pre-modern period of time, modern age, and postmodern age. When we say post-human, we don't know anything about the pre-human. We know about 100 years ago, everybody was black in Africa. 100 years ago, everybody, all people were black people in Africa. It's a location that we called it Africa now. At about 50 years ago, 50,000 years ago, they have moved to the other parts of Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere which is called Europe, not somewhere which is called now America, with the Native American, not with new generation of American. And during these 50,000 years of immigration, we have adapted to the nature of the earth. Why? Because we are not all now black people. Different skin color, different type of society, different lives. For 50,000 years. The written history is about 5,000 years. The very European rigid written, it is about 3,000 years. We don't have any written history. Written history is about Noah. Noah, the prophet, Noah is about 5,000 years ago.
Yeah.
With that famous ship that travel all the animals and leave all the people in the store.
Right.
It is about 5,000 years ago. Moses is about less than 3,000. Moses is about 2,700, and Jesus about 2,000, and Muhammad is about 1,400 years. And after that, we have the one, for example, if prophets, we can consider prophets like great people. We don't have any new prophet after Muhammad.
Right.
So we don't know anything about the pre-human. Yes. Before 50,000 years ago, we were pre-human. Yes. But we know near 2,000 years that we can consider some specific features for somebody in the earth that you call him or her human. Different from chimpanzees, different from gorillas, different from monkeys, and also different from tigers and other mammals. Near 2,000 years between Moses and Jesus. If you want to know it very clear, you should read a very, very, very hard book with the title of The Origins of Consciousness in the Breakdown of Bicameral Mind. Only the title of book is very hard to understand. The Origin of Consciousness in the Breakdown of Bicameral Mind. But now we know who is human with the specific features, a specific type of lifestyle, a specific type of communication, a specific type of family. Near together, it is cross-cultural. When we are talking about the post-human, we are talking about the science fiction part of human. It is not like me. For example, we know before 10 years from now, only 10 years, we know that everything will be your eyeglass. Your mobile will be your eyeglass, your internet will be your eyeglass, everything. Before 10 years. What are you talking about? It's a huge change in all communication styles.
Mm-hmm.
It is transhuman in society, in the role of religion, in the role of God, and more important than everything, in the role of interpersonal communication. And the second part of transhuman is about eternity. The prediction is before 100 years from now, before 100 years from now, we have the transition one person head and brain to another person before 100 years from now. And after that, we will enter the side of eternity. It is transhuman. It is not human. The human with the possibility of no death, it is transhuman. It is something like it. Now I know that it is like a science fiction movie I can find in Hollywood. But many new generation of your life, very ordinary, your mobile. Only 3 decades from before, your mobile was science fiction. You see in the, for example, James Bond movies that he has a telephone, not a mobile, with a cord telephone in his car, and as a very high tech in America, they said, yes, baby, what are you talking about in his car? With a very huge telephone in his car, with a lot of cords, and only 3 decades. Because of that, we are entering a new, not generation, a new style of human after Homo erectus. Our last changing is Homo erectus. Homo erectus is mean we are the only person in the earth that we stand in on 2 feet, not on 4, 2 hands and 2 feet. We are the only one. All other beings in the earth, at least they have 4. After Homo erectus, Homo digitus, the next session, we are entering to communicate to all world in a digital world. And after that, also we think that we have transhuman. We can talk about it a lot. It is not very simple. Okay, emerging issues in leadership continues. Strategic leadership requires the leaders be capable of understanding the complexity of both organization and its environment. This is a strategy. This is interaction between organization and its environment. Environment can be a country, can be government, can be also the very local problems. Like for example, you know that some companies, some organizations are very, very limited located. For example, one of the 4 symbols of California is In-N-Out hamburger, but it's located in California. So the environment of this industry is related to the California cuisine and California culture. But it is not about McDonald's. McDonald's is all around the world. You can find McDonald's. The environment interchange with McDonald's is not only a state, great state like Golden State, California. It is about the all around the world. So in a strategic leadership, you should know about the complexities of details of interactions between the organization and environment. Leading change in the organization to achieve and maintain a superior alignment between the organization and the environment. The first, the high risk factors. Second part, the superior alignment. And managerial requirements are encompassing understanding of the organization. It's very important. Firm grasp of the organization environment. Grasp. And awareness of firm's alignment with the environment. Ability to improve the alignment. And other parts is why ethical leadership is essential. Do you know one of the proficiency of Dr. Zayer is ethical leadership, and you can ask him about the components, major components of ethical leadership. So why ethical leadership is essential? Increasing pressure for high ethical standards for leadership positions, increasing pressure to hold leaders accountable for their actions, increasing environmental pressure for stronger corporate governance models, and virtual leadership challenges. The last part of our discussion is about virtual leadership challenges. At first, changes in leadership and mentoring as an in-person contact replaces virtual contact at first. Second part, less nonverbal communication. You lose the verbal communication. Sometimes at the side of a speed of communication, it is good. Sometimes at the aspect of emotional band between the different parts of communication, it is not good. Because a great part, a major part of emotional bandage between different people is about the communication, verbal communication. When you want to show your feelings to other people, one of the greatest components, greatest elements, greatest tools that you can find is your words. And increasing importance of emails roles in conveying appreciation, reinforcement, and constructive feedback. Also, this book is about, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. Now, instead of emails, we have LinkedIn. Also, it is email-based, but we have LinkedIn, we have Instagram, we have Facebook. We are the greater and the more important parts than emails in virtual communications. It's more exciting, more important than everything. YouTube. Face-to-face leadership skills become critical as opportunity decrease for direct contact. That's it. After reading, okay. So you have 50 minutes, and I am here for 15 minutes to take your week 6 quiz and also prepare yourself, students, for the case report, case study. The time, the due date is end of the week 6. What's Maris?
I remember you saying that there was an extension because you only opened it up.
Yeah,
in
I
week
wanted to
6.
talk it. Yeah, I wanted to.
So did they, or is it still available to them?
Yeah, until the end of the week 7. No
Okay,
problem. Case report, study case report for the end of the week 7, but please work on them and say other students to work on them. Why? Because different aspects, I know it is their first experience, I know, but they should do it. It is not important about doing fault, no important. Trial and error, why not? But at first it is trial. Second part is error. When you don't have any trial, yes, you are always in error. It is not error, it is fault. Error is one component of trial. I do something right, I do something wrong. That wrong is error, and error is at the feedback loop, and again, I recorrect and do it again. Why not? Trial and error. But the major component is trial, not error. As their counselor, please emphasize them to start it, because now is the middle part of week 6. Only after 10 days, it is at the end of the week 7.
Yeah.
And after it is final grade, goodbye, until the next course.
Yeah.
Okay, have a good weekend. I am here until the next 15 minutes. Bye.